Hello, I was just watching a video by the Bookish Dads on YouTube, and at the end of one of his video, I can't remember what the video was on, but I think it was about a bookshop that's like an independent bookshop that goes bulk buys them, and basically me, my boyfriend, and one of his best mates are now trying to figure out when we're gonna go to see that bookshop. Because the books are sold at discount prices. But at the end of that video, he asked about books that we don't see people talking about, and I was like, well, I know a lot, so, and I can name quite a few, so I figured I would also come on and make a little video about Before the Coffee Goes Cold. So I am 3 books in, and one second, my brain's not. I can't find the author. I've only just read like the 3rd book in the series. Before the Coffee Goes Cold. Toshikazu Kawaguchi. And the book series, there is 5 at the moment, though there is a 6th one which is currently being translated into English apparently. And basically the book series are about this cafe and people's experiences with this cafe. It's not real. But there's a cafe which allows you to travel back in time, and in some cases, pardon me, you can go to the future. However, there's a lot of rules that you must follow. These rules are the reason that a lot of people don't use the cafe. People show up because of this urban legend, supposedly, where you can go back in time. And one of the rules is you can't anything you do. You can't change the future. You can't do anything that could alter the future. And that one rule, a lot of people decide they aren't going to the past. You can't get up from your seat when you travel back to the past, because if you get up from your seat, you will be immediately teleported back to the present. You can only talk to someone who has previously used the cafe, and if you have to be able to see specifically where you want to go and who you want to meet. If you don't particularly know, you can get the dates mixed up, you can get confused, you could miss the person that you go into the past to see or the futures to see. So it's very clever in the way that this book talks about people's pasts, their struggles. There's the topic of mental health, there's the topic of physical health, going back to see a dead loved one, and one of the things about this cafe is the only people that have that skill is one person of the I can't remember the name. It's been a few days since I read the book. I've read quite a few since then. But it's always a woman, a female of the family that own the cafe. And basically they've got to pour the tea, they've got to tell you the rules. There's a ghost which sits in the chair, and you can only travel to the past or to the future when that ghost gets up to go to the toilet. And that ghost only goes once a day, so you have to wait. But yeah, I think the book series itself, if you are a fan of gaming, you will like. It's basically what Stardew Valley is to cozy gamers, but for books, because it handles a lot of elements of being human. Just give me a second, I'll be right back. My memory's a bit fuzzy, so I'm just gonna read the reviews that I put, and then just to help me jog my memory. But also these are up on Goodreads if you guys want to read it. So the first book I actually read after I read the 2nd book, so this isn't going to be a spoiler-free video either. But what I've put for the review with my first book is, I can't believe I got this book and now finish it, and I can't believe how much this single book broke my heart. I have a bit of a predicament because I accidentally got the 2nd book and read that one first, thinking it to be the first, as it was the only book available at my library. For some reason, the person who borrowed the entire series didn't borrow book 2 and read all the other books, so I started the series and returned book 2. Usually this ruins a book's storyline for me, but the series has a lot of time travel in it, so the only thing that upset me when reading book 1 was the fact that 2 of the characters from this book aren't in book 2 anymore. There's a magic to Kawaguchi's writing, where his books teach lessons about the human condition. I say human condition because there are many things that only people do, as utterly stupid beings that I don't understand myself. One of the chapters had me bawling my eyes out. I was all cried out, so when I got to the ending of this book, I couldn't cry because the ending was really sad too. Although under usual circumstances, a story like that would have had me bawling. It was a very emotional read, and these books are best enjoyed with a coffee, so if you do read, I recommend brewing your own drink and drinking it up before the coffee gets cold. The reason I am reading these reviews is these are borrowed from my library, and I got the ebook version. I didn't want to listen to the audiobook, I wanted to read it, and the only good thing about the laptop that I've got is it's touchscreen, but BorrowBox works slowly but loads better, and it's easier to read and there's less glitches. One of my mates was on about getting me the books for the book series, so just send them over my Amazon wishlist because they're on there, so I'm actually very nervous and excited for that. It's the only thing that stopped me buying them myself, the fact that one of my mates has promised me that he's going to buy them. My book number 2 was the shorter review, but Japanese books about cafes is my new favourite genre of book. There's something weird and profound about this style of book. Just like the other books which tell similar tales, this story focused on different stories of each and had a lesson that the protagonist went through. I could gush for hours, but I'm excited about the next book as it offers a few more like this. So I thought this was just one standalone book. At this time when I read book 2, I didn't realise it was part of a series. And then we've got book 3, Before Your Memory Fades. So last book was Tales from the Cafe. They're all in the same series. This one's Before Your Memory Fades. And the review, all these books have been 5-star reads for me so far. They are relatively short. They're 200, maybe a bit more pages. And so for my Before Your Memory Fades, I put, this series breaks my heart. The human condition is certainly confusing. So many people come and go, yet in these pages, whole lives are laid bare for us to discover through a small coffee shop which runs on an urban legend which turns out to be true. Although this is a work of fiction, so it's not true. Each time I read a book in this series, without fail, there's a point I break down crying about the events within the pages. This is how you know you found a good book. The characters, both the regulars and those just passing by, though, are heartbreakingly human. The desires are simple, yet so relatable. To say a proper goodbye, to understand a loved one better, to forgive and to remember. Kawaguchi's writing, beautifully translated, never tries to force it in emotion. It simply invites it in. And the magic system, still beautifully restrained. There are rules, there's a specific chair, there's a time limit, but that makes it magical. What makes it magical isn't the time travel, it's what people choose to do with their moment in the past, and often it's not what you'd expect. I found myself pausing often, not because I was confused, but because I needed to sit with what I was feeling. It's rare books give you that kind of space. These kinds of books are rare, but I highly recommend everyone tries this series out. The story itself is raw, beautiful, and like I said, it invites emotion rather than forces it. Just 1 second, I've just realised it's 2:30 and I've not had my meds I was supposed to take at 10 o'clock. I had a little twitch then in my mouth, which was really painful, and that's usually a sign that my epilepsy is acting up. So that was scary. That was living with epilepsy, guys. That's another reason why sometimes when I do these reviews, you'll see me go back to I'll have a script, or I'll go back to the reviews. I understand that a lot of people will look at my Goodreads and be like, how have you read over 100 books in a month? At the moment, the only reason I am capable of reading that much is because I'm doing a mixture of short stories, children's books, and audiobooks. But also, when I struggle with my depression, I spend every single second that I am awake when I am not at work reading. it just helps me cope with my mental health a bit better. But considering before, what my old habit used to be is I'd sit here and have a game loaded and I just didn't feel like I could play it, and I didn't feel like I deserved to play it. So like reading I like how it's become more accessible. So like there's so many books you can read, or you can listen to audiobooks as well online, and I just think that whole thing is brilliant. But that also helps with how many books I've read. Sometimes I try and read like 3 or 4 like books before bed, and by books I mean like original fiction at the moment, but there's a website called Reactor where a lot of authors have released books for free on there, and it's just short stories, so it can be like 4,000 to 6,000 words, so it's not really that big of a book. But then again, it depends on your reading style, it depends on what you're comfortable reading. Obviously it's not a competition of how much or how little you read, it's just I do recommend checking out Reactor's original fiction, especially Porgy's Bore. I really enjoyed that. But anyway, back to the video. Yeah, we were talking about before your memory fade, before the coffee gets cold. So I have book 4 and book 5 on loan at the moment, and I'm probably going to start reading them tonight because I want to finish the series, but at the same time I'm really scared to. One of the reasons I haven't mentioned names, I can read the names in the book, I can pronounce them when the book is in front of me, but remembering and retaining the names, they're all Japanese names, and my brain, I gotta be honest, unless it's in front of me, I'm not gonna know. I think the author's name, Toshikazu, that is the only part of his name I know I'm getting right, but the Kawaguchi, I'm not even sure, I gotta be honest, I'm probably butchering that. But unless the name's in front of me, I don't know what's going on, so, one sec. I don't know if I'm going to be able to spice these videos together, but yeah, that was my roommate just calling me to ask how big of a beef joint he needs to get. But yeah, there's 2 more books in this series that I haven't read yet. Let's see if I can just get it up quickly over here. Oh my word, how come in Italy they get a gorgeous book? The book covers as well. I don't look at that. And then I don't want to like. I love how it's been translated in so many languages as well. But yeah, I just kind of prop my phone up when I'm recording. I've clicked the name rather than the actual book series. So there's 2 more books that we currently have in English. We have Before We Say Goodbye, which has a pink cover, and Before We Forget Kindness. The 6th book, I don't know what that is called because I can't translate. But I believe they've got 7 books out in this series. Yeah, 7 books. So yeah. Anyway, it's cozy literature. I don't know what else to call it, but it's like there's magical surrealism. There's the whole traveling to the past side of things. Obviously the best thing to do is to just recommend that you check these books out because they are relatively short compared to some of the books. They're like not short stories. I read other kids' books because I like mixing up what I read. But 200 pages roughly, all of each of them, maybe a bit more. I know most books that people are reading are between 300 to 500 pages, which is like but it depends on the person again. But yeah, I don't see anyone talking about these book series, so I just figured, after watching that video by Bookish Dads, I would just come on here and do a quick video about before the coffee gets cold, because I absolutely love the series. I'm more than halfway through now because, like I said, there's 5 books. The 6th one's being translated. There's a 7th one which hasn't been released apparently. I can't see anything on Goodreads about it, but someone mentioned it the other day when I was talking to someone on Goodreads about it. I just can't remember who I was talking to about it. But yeah, check out your library, check out World of Books, check out Amazon for this books. I am excited for my mate buys me the series because this is one of my favourites. Like, I can't read books again after I've read them. I severely struggle. but this might be one of the first books I go back to and read again, because it was a really relaxing book read for me. It's nice to have books that you can relax while reading, but books that also can, like, doesn't force emotion but rather invites it. And to me, these books are really about the human condition and about so many things to do with being human. And I just thought the book series itself is brilliant, and I don't see anyone talking about them. You can get audiobooks if you would rather listen to an audiobook. They are also on Kindle, so I figured I'd also put that out there. But yeah. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure to let me know if you have read this series. Make sure you let me know what you thought of it, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.